I'm making a racing game called Apex Rush, where you can race, stunt, and drift. Today I want to go over some of the new things that I've been working on and give you all some updates regarding the game. And if you're interested in playing it when it comes out, there's a Steam page in the description so you can wishlist the game. Which also helps me out a lot, so big thank you to everyone who's wishlisted the game so far. So there's been a lot of added features to the cars, beginning with the Nexo, which is inspired by the NSX. We now got this car up and running, and there's a lot of cool parts to unlock for this car, and 7HC, who's modeling these, did a great job with the body kits here. I also set up this camera system within the customizer that now smoothly transitions between the parts you're working on. Before you had to rotate the camera on your own, which you can still do of course, and look at the car any way you'd like. Now I'm going to model a new area where you customize the cars after selecting them from a menu. Right now I have this system which is fully modular and movable, so you can just drop this down wherever you want to begin customizing the car. I'm thinking of making like a stage or a cool showroom where you can sort of go between all the cars and then select the one you want to customize and yeah, begin working on it. I did change a couple things here in this UI as well, like the look of some of these boxes, which might not be final either. Anything you see in the UI can definitely change towards release. Yeah, we got some nice body variations. You guys really wanted a Rocket Bunny kit, so we did add that. So you can, for example, mix this one together with this one here. Then we can really widen out the fenders here as well, and of course go into the wheel settings. And we can just shift these tires out a little bit and maybe just add some camber on the front as well. It's shifted out. There you go. Got an aggressive hood option going. The side skirts, we can go for these ones. And we do have a crazy wing here as well. Yeah, we can go for this one. If you really want the full Rocket Bunny look, I guess. Headlights got some different options as well. And yes, these do flip up and down. If you do, of course, switch to these pop-up lights right here. And I really do like these taillights. I think they look really, really good. The interior camera now also has some camera movement as well, so we can swap between the seats. The steering wheel right here. Now you can also see this guy up here. We are going to be adding pendants, so you can have different pendants hanging from the rear view mirror. Yeah, I'll be getting those modeled very soon, so we can begin adding those in. What color do we go for here? I kind of really like this like dark green, and then we mix those with like white rims. I think that looks really clean actually. I don't know. Like a retro kind of look, but I really like it. I would probably go for like maybe this bumper instead. I do think that looks a bit cleaner. But yeah, so nice parts to choose from for sure for this car. And there will be, like I said this here, there is going to be a very nice photo mode as well. So you can pull up the cool spots, go into the photo mode, take some nice pictures, and then post them to the Steam Workshop as well. So I'll continue working on the drift handling, and I'm very close to a final stage for it. The wheels now also follow the angle and direction that the car has, so they're accurately turning the right way as you drift, as you can see in this transition here. This setting was needed to have a steering wheel in the future hopefully work, with the correct movement, which I will be experimenting with very soon. I know a ton of you guys have been asking about steering wheel support, and I'm gonna try my best to add it. I also showed this a little bit in the last video, but the drift scoring system is now also set up. Once you reach an angle, you'll begin to score points, and a multiplier will also begin to increase. As long as you don't spin out or crash, you can get this multiplier up to 5x, which will of course increase your score. There's also hit targets like these signs, which you need to hit with a certain amount of speed that then adds a set score to your total. Now I'm going to expand on this scoring system as I decide which sections and challenges I want to have in the game. So for the Drift Island, for example, you'll be able to pick between different sections to drift and score points within them to gain car XP. Alright, we got the stock body kit on the SX7, but let's see here. As an example, this could be like one section maybe. So you'd go out here, try and get these signs, get the slow-mo, boom, hit that one. Oh, almost oversteered. Good save though. This corner is kind of long, so let's try and go all the way on the outside here. Just try and get a clean run all the way through. Look at that. Transition. Yep, we just got that one. They're kind of suspended in the air right now. I haven't really placed them correctly, but yeah. Let's see some nice throttle control through here. Need to get to the inside. No, I missed the last time, but yeah, then as we stop right here, this will get, of course, added to the final drift score. Now, this UI is also bound to change. Up until now has really just been like getting things to work on the UI. I've also linked the exhaust pop sound trigger to this backfire effect, which happens when you keep the RPMs high enough for a specific amount of time and then let go. Kayo, who's part of the team as a sound designer, has been working on the sounds as well as surface effects, so there's a difference if you drive on asphalt or dirt or grass or any other surfaces that might be in the game. And one of the best additions so far is the wheel collision audio that you hear when landing a jump or bumping into something with the wheels. Caillou had a very good point where he said that the car felt floaty when you were driving around and jumping, so this gives the player more of a connection between the wheels and the surface you're driving on. He also added some new impact sounds, which play based on how hard you collide with something. If you scrape the car against something, either at high or low speeds, it now plays this sound, which I can then link into these spark effects that will happen on the location of impact. He's also been working on making all of these sounds more dynamic, which basically just means that he's blending all of these sounds together with different volumes, depending on how long a sound is played, so it doesn't get like too repetitive hearing the same loop over and over again. I finally managed to fix something the other day, which required all of my brain power to figure out. So previously, if the car went over a sharp edge or tried driving on something like a tightrope, the wheels would clip into the ground or just through the object, making you get stuck or just fall off. And this was bad and made some things pretty much impossible to do when playing. But I decided to mess around with the physics bodies of the wheels. I changed how the ground distance is calculated and did some tweaking, and it now allows for more precise driving on edges, going over bumps, and it's overall a more smooth experience. I also made some big difference to the drift island. As I was drifting around, I felt like the backdrop was very repetitive, and having these hills like surrounding it made the world just feel smaller. So I ended up removing a lot of the big hills, making it look more like a dynamic island area with different heights and landscape materials, blending it together nicely. The materials and textures I also swapped out completely to a new one which looks more fresh and more tropical in my opinion. With this I also tweaked the lighting and shadows to be a bit brighter, and I placed the remaining foliage around the island as well. And finally, I also switched to a better matching water shader to finish off the look. I've been wanting to rework this one for a while, so I'm glad I finally did it. And I feel like the before and after here is definitely an improvement. Now, this inspired me to also rework the city drift map, which I'll be calling Apex City. And as you can see, I made the drivable area a lot bigger than before. And in the middle of this map, which is currently just empty, I'll be making a small drift track that you can enter and complete challenges on as well. It all looks a bit empty right now, but yeah, it's going to have a very modern, almost futuristic look to it. I started making some of the buildings more customized, and this will look really good once I've done this for more of them. Getting in some big billboards and signs with this pixelated shader just along all the buildings. More detailed streets and sidewalks will be added as well. So I'm excited to begin working on this bigger version of Apex City, which also gives me more space to add things such as parking garages, which you can drift into, and other interactive areas as well. Now, the track builder has also been updated a lot since last time, and Simon, who's building this part of the game, has been hard at work, so let me show you some of the new things. First of all, we added a bunch of new track pieces. We pretty much tripled the amount of objects to build with since last time. One that was suggested the most is to have pieces with only edges on one side, so that you can, for example, build a massive wide ramp or any other variation you can think of. We also added these very thin tracks for pieces that you can use to create harder sections of maps, and I've had a lot of fun making some like parkour type maps with these, as they do require a lot of precision. The tubes are also a new category, so you can now race around in these in multiple ways. The car does of course loop around inside it, and you can also make tracks where you drive on top of them. We also began adding some like initial scenery pieces like pillars and arches, just to get some more variation to the maps if you want the tracks to be like held up by something. And some small details like these corner connections, so instead of having just straight edges in a turn, you can connect them nicely using these. Now we'll be adding more environment stuff for sure, so you can get creative with the map's scenery. So if you have any ideas of anything you want to see around the maps, and yeah, let me know in the comments. Or you can also give suggestions in the brand new Discord server that we finally made for Apex Rush. I'll leave a link in the description. There's a suggestion channel right there if you want to post something. So yeah, join that if you want to follow more progress about Apex Rush. Previously in the track builder, you could also only rotate pieces on the Y and Z axis, but now you can also roll them along the X-axis, which allows for more variation in the tracks. Like for example, you can use a full ramp as a wall ride instead. The checkpoint system is also working now, so it'll display the current time when you cross a checkpoint, along with the delta time showing if you're improving your time or not. And when you test the track for the first time, it'll save the checkpoint order in the order that you crossed them, which you will then see when you exit the playtest. Now it's currently not displaying the best time that you've set on the UI, which is the one that you're, I guess, racing against, but that is being added literally right now as I speak. So expect a more finalized timer system in the next video. So just gonna show what I mean. If I go to like, yeah, let's just do a straight. So we'll do a straight, then we'll get the checkpoints. We'll do one right there. Let's turn on the edges. We can maybe build just like a small slope here. Wait 1 sec, like a tilted ramp. Have that go like this. Then down over here. Then we'll add a second checkpoint right there, and then we'll say that I would continue over here. If we then get the car down, we'll put you right there. And then we hit the playtest key, we need to wait, and then it goes. And then if we cross this checkpoint, it'll show the time when I hit it. And then the other one. So now you can see in the editor, this one says 0, and this checkpoint over here would be 1. So now if you playtest it again, and we'll just go a bit slower here at the start, you can see that the delta time will be red, and it was 0.0640 slower. And this was 0.1 second faster, or slower, I mean, sorry. Now this would only pop up for like a few seconds. Like I said, a lot of the UI things still need to be worked out, but yeah, we got the basics down for this, which is really, really nice. So I'm finally at this stage now where I can begin making, I guess, the official campaign tracks, and then move them into their like official world maps. Since now that the handling of most of the cars are kind of finished, we can now begin working on that part of the development. So finishing the maps, adding the tracks, adding a level system, there's still more cars to be added, and some boring back-end stuff. There's still a lot of features that do need to be added, but I feel like we're making great progress at the moment. I'll be sharing more consistent updates on the Discord, like I said, as well as on Instagram and TikTok, so I'll leave all the links to that down in the description if you guys want to follow along. But that is going to be it for today's Apex Rush update. Make sure you go and wishlist the game on Steam, and yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Take care.